And then we are live, and I'm gonna go live on Instagram. Oh, and it's not letting me. Oh, there it is. Okay, so welcome everyone to another Mother Spirit episode of the Water Magicians. Today, joining me is Catherine. And where are you? Are you in British Columbia? Or are you on the West
No,
Coast? Do you
I'm in the
mind sharing?
southeast of US.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Nice. Beautiful. So today I just thought we'd actually talk about creating community. Um, yeah, and maybe you can just spontaneously jump in, Catherine, and
Okay.
share. You're new, actually, so this is kind of
Yeah.
cool. How did you
Yeah.
stumble across us?
So I came across your videos maybe almost 2 years ago when I first was getting into urine therapy and dove in, loved your content, and did Shivambu fast, which was probably a little bit too much for my nervous system at that time. And yeah, and was traveling and eventually fell off the bandwagon. I've been in and out of my parents' home in Alabama, and so it's just not a conducive place for urine, like for lots of aging urine, and it's not something that's welcome. So I think I just let it fall by the wayside. And then about a month and a half ago, I was attacked pretty badly by dogs, and was about to go down the antibiotic route. Was looking for other options, and my friend reminded me about urine therapy, and so I got back into it. Immediately after I had the bites, I started looping and keeping gauze soaked cloth on my wounds. And it just brought me back to your channel. And also, yeah, the body's inherent ability to heal itself through our own waters.
Yeah, wow, it's amazing. And it's funny how, or it's serendipitous how everything you just shared about having community, like being in a space where this healing modality is supported by all the members that you share that domicile with is actually really important, or at least having some kind of online community. Otherwise, it's lonely out there in the plasma
It's well,
therapy.
it's lonely in general without community, and much less without having, yeah, that support if you are trying something new like urine therapy. I mean, my father's a neurosurgeon, so I am living
Mm.
in a complete diametrically opposite worldview at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people can relate with that, and especially in the Shivambu community, because it's like it goes against the grain of just, what we've been told this fluid is. Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
amazing. So how did wow, there's so much behind an injury like that besides the actual physical injury, but the emotional trauma. And one of the things that really surprised me, or was such a huge boost for me to even pursue it further, was I actually felt emotionally supported in some way. It was like um, an inner void was being filled by the Shivambu or the plasma that I didn't even realize was there. And so there was like this emotional uh, feeling of being taken care of. And did you feel that a little bit with the dog bites and stuff like that? Did it help
I
your
did.
emotional?
I did because, um, not to go too deep into my own story, but I've had a really long history with disease and a lot of medical intervention since I was quite young. And the whole notion that the body can heal itself, that the body has an innate intelligence and like a healing byproduct is so foreign. And um, yeah, to go through to like go to urgent care because I thought I might need stitches. It was pretty deep. And to be in that environment and again, and to have them pushing rabies vaccines and antibiotics and like the fear and the PTSD for me of being in that kind of environment. And can I trust my body? Do I know what to do? Like, do I have the tools that I need to be able to navigate this challenge? It brought up a lot of old emotion. And yes, like you said, being able to tap back in and feel like my body in whatever perfect rhythm she needs to be able to come back to, okay, like there is this inherently intelligent feedback that's happening, and it is nourishing me, and I will be able to course correct if I need to, and I will be able to find the right modalities or the right approaches. So yes, it was like a very triggering and healing journey for me.
Wow, that's so cool. I'm gonna bring Olivier up. The Yeah, there's so much the intuition. It really puts you in touch with your intuition and trusting in yourself, like you say. And I used to joke around about healthcare doesn't come from a card that you carry around in your wallet, and the body, yeah, you triggering the self healing or supporting the self healing that happens, and this just trust, like you were saying, this trust in your ability to navigate that. It's such an empowering thing. It's so beautiful. So thank you so much for coming and sharing with us, Catherine.
Yeah.
Welcome, Olivier. Oh, I can't hear you. Your mic is having a problem. So how long have you been practicing now, Catherine? You were on for a while, and then you stopped, and you came
Mm-hmm.
back.
Probably altogether, maybe 4 or 5 months, with about a year in between. And yeah, I mean, I still have a lot of questions. I think you jump into something like Shivambu because you hear these books and you see these books and you hear these amazing testimonials of, oh yeah, my mother had cancer and she was healed in 6 weeks, or and for someone like me who's had a lot of dis-ease, there is that initial jolt of hope. And I think that that's still present within me. But what's happening now is just the settling into trusting life itself, trusting my own waters, trusting, the love that is leading us forward in some way, that this is undoing whatever knots need to be undone, because I'm so beyond trying to work it out or understand or um, way into healing. And so I think where I am right now with my Shivambu journey is like trusting that even if my diet isn't perfect, there is this, like I said, that feedback loop of inner knowing that is leading me to the next right moment to course correct or shift or whatnot. Because I, like, mentally I'm exhausted, emotionally I'm exhausted, um, and there is that thread though of hope that, like, what yeah, the life itself through my Shivambu is holding me and leading me forward.
Yeah, I remember when I first started, I had this like doubt still come into my head, like that this wasn't, that you're just, you're dealing with this paradox in your mind of what you thought this water was and what it actually is, and then like actually taking the action and know knowing for yourself from your own results was really empowering to me. But it was like it took like a good month for it to really settle, and now 3 years later, it's I wish I'd have journaled more because where my health was at, and I thought I was pretty healthy. Like I thought I had a fairly healthy diet, and I thought things were okay. And the way my body was feeling, I was like, okay, this is just how you age. And now 3 years later, it's like that whole way that I was thinking back then and feeling, I couldn't be in a more different place uh, than I am now. It's just remarkable, actually. Like with the consistency pays off so
Mm-hmm.
much, and to move through the times of doubt, because as our bodies heal, it's not just a smooth trajectory. It's like a lot of emotion comes up, healing crises come up, and to embrace those moments, joyfully, actually, uh, and to know that it's healing you and it's not, there's nothing, um, yeah, it's like an upward climb, but sometimes you have to track down a little bit to find a better path and go up again. So it's been an interesting journey, but I'm so glad that I've stuck with it and been consistent. It's
Yeah,
like the most valuable substance I know of.
I know. Well, from what I've gathered from your community, you definitely feel that way. And so I just have a practical question, if that's okay. Uh,
Absolutely.
I've been looping because that's just the easiest thing for me to do. Not every single, I'm not drinking every single bit that I produce, but I'm drinking quite a bit. But if I was to take the next step, like I have tried the Bastis, like the small enemas in the past, and I've tried aging, but I haven't gone back to any of that. And I'm just curious if there's like an intuitive next step that's coming to you for me. That, yeah, because there's so many different options.
Yeah, I love, like, for introducing aged. Now I sometimes almost find myself wanting to drink my aged more than fresh. Yeah,
Really?
I don't know what it is about that. I think it's because, like, maybe my healing has gotten to a point now where I feel like I can use more power from that. So I'll make like a diluted aged, like a little bit of aged with some distilled water, and actually apple cider vinegar is sort of one of my favorites. It tastes like a fuzzy, like, tonic. I don't know. I love the flavor of it. And aged on the skin, reduced, like both. I don't know. I think there's so many ways to introduce aged.
Hmm. And when you're
Uh,
saying aged, are you talking like a light age, 4 to 7 days, or much longer?
I kind of call 2 weeks
Okay.
like aged. Um, what I finally have now, because we've been traveling, and we've been in Canada here for, geez, I think 3 months now. So I finally have a little back, and we've been in one place. So I have like some stores now. So yeah, but 2 weeks is sort of what I would call like a proper aged. But I mean, at any stage, you can introduce them,
Okay.
or drops under the tongue even is nice. Olivier, what's your favorite?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
What's my favorite?
Like, how would you say to if you were recommending to someone to starting to introduce aged into their body, what would be an easy way to do that, or a fun way?
Okay. Um, First of all, I don't know if you read the chat. I'm trying to tell you something there. So,
Oh, sorry.
no, Joanne. Um, if we want to heal, we need to ingest less, and eventually, um, we need help to do that, I think. And if we age the plasma is fasting in the bottle. And then when we take that back, we're filling ourselves up more and more with plasma that is basically trained itself free, like for free, without our effort, just leaving it into the bottle. We get that fasting aptitude from that plasma reintroduced back in our body. So, like Joanne said, maybe it's because we have our detox symptoms have lowered enough, and we need more. It's just naturally we feel inclined to push the body to heal more. And like Chris Manley was talking about, also is an experience he had with aged after like 6 or 7 months of almost no food, and he evacuated some worms or something. So, and the Buddha also talks about how fermented urine is our medicine for life. So I think there's a point where even the breatharian can heal more by empowering his own pranic abilities with the work of his plasma aging outside of his body, and then bringing that back in, and it's like a boost. So I think that's what we're feeling as soon as I eat, especially dense food. I feel like chugging a bunch of age to, because it's like the best thing. Even the magnesium oxide that Edward Group sells, which is great, does not come. It doesn't match aged Shivambu for flushing out the guts. So yeah, I've been inclined a lot to drink Shivambu, aged Shivambu now, and to also take my herbs through it. So my magic mushrooms, my moringa, my haritaki, so much stuff I'm taking now through my age, and it's so much more powerful. Um,
Can you explain that a little bit more? Like you're taking it in and then you're recycling it through your aged urine, or you're steeping it, or
yeah, we're steeping it.
okay.
Yeah. So even
But it's
or
a
steeping
sorry,
it,
it's
or
a
if
cold
I
infusion.
A
It's
cold
not a
infusion.
yeah.
Okay.
yeah, we're just leaving it in there. I guess you could warm it up. But yeah, even just when I will sometimes want a magic mushroom and just pick it, put it in my mouth, then put some aged in my mouth and chew it with the aged, I'll feel the effect of the mushrooms three, 4, 5 times faster, because the plasma just takes it and delivers it into the system. And same thing, I think, with all.
You just cut out. Lee, you just cut out. Olivier, we lost you. Whoa. We lost you. Yeah, the infusions have been really, actually that's really one of my favorites. Um and we're doing small volume, like this cup for example. Like I would even have less than that and add the herbs, whatever they are, rosemary, lavender, um, turmeric and black pepper, or whatever it is that you're taking. If you're taking a herbal um, tea or something, try it in your aged shivambu, and just even letting it sit for 4 hours at room temperature, you'll feel it pulls everything out of the plant material so quickly. It's amazing. You
Hmm.
could warm it up, but it feels like uh, the Damar Tantra. It feels like that's what they were actually getting at when they were talking about when they have all their recipes in there of haritaki and ginger and like whatever that's like a recipe book there. I feel like they were actually talking about infusing it with the aged because it's been so effective, like just the flavor alone. When I did black pepper, just black pepper in my aged shivambu in a small glass and let it sit for 4 hours and took a sip of that, it's like you feel the pepper on a whole new level, and it sort of mellows out the bite of the aged shivambu. So it's really interesting, and I feel the herbs are able to take better action in the body when they in this way, rather than just boiling them in water. You feel so much more power from the plant.
Hmm.
So we've been doing that a lot. Even if we went, for example, this morning we have decided to have a coffee, and we use some of our fresh, clear shivambu to brew it. Um, so we've just been getting it into our bodies in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different ages, and just really being playful with it and experimenting. And yeah, I feel like our diet is so clean, has been pretty clean since we've been here. So we're able to kind of push the envelope on the intake a bit.
Hmm. My diet, I mean, compared to most people's, is very clean, but I still sometimes have salt and
Mm.
occasionally cook food. Like I'm living in an environment where I'm definitely consuming things that aren't perfect. So, part of me is like, oh, I'm just going to wait and age my urine until later. And then part of me is like, oh, no, it's important to go ahead and start before perfection happens. So,
Yeah,
what can you speak to that?
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always perfect. It's always the perfect moment. And your diet is always perfect. And everything is unfolding as it should. I really believe that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, so even like when eating salt, that plasma, when it's aged, is useful because it's like a transition. It's gonna have the thing from the salt that we're going after. Obviously, we're going after something. There's a reason. People who eat salt in a way need it, or they need something from salt, um, that maybe they can get somewhere else, but they're getting it through that at that time.
Hmm.
So when they get the age from that, when they ate the salt, the age that they kept and aged with the salt, there's going to be some in it. There, it's going to be like cured and healed by the plasma in order to be more useful. So at any time, the plasma that we create sort of matches perfectly where we are.
Oh, damn. We lost you again. What a bummer. What a bummer. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with what everything Olivia was saying there. Salt was like a huge deal for me to wean myself off of. When I started reading up about it, well, really, actually, Megan McDonald sort of got me started into investigating no salt, and this has been a huge subject. And the diet, whatever you're eating, when you age the plasma, like Lee was saying, the aging process. It's fasting in the jar. So there's a detox that's still happening in there. It's really amazing.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been
Olivia,
experimenting some with the no salt. And part of me ideologically is like, oh, it's an important mineral. We've been so brainwashed into thinking that. And even from sources that I still trust, I see this come up sometimes. But I also feel better when I eat much less salt. I still crave it. I do notice if I'm eating high mineral foods like lots of celery and seaweeds and things like that, my cravings subside. So there is some link between the yeah getting those nutrients other places, but it's been a hard thing for me to give up for long periods of time.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I feel like I'm finally, when I started investigating this issue, um, I actually started looking up like, okay, is this addictive? Like, is salt actually addictive? So I started looking into papers or any literature on that, and yeah, I, my intuition was right. It's totally like, yeah, it's like a hard drug for me. When I go by a restaurant and I smell that restaurant food and like everything in there is like salty, and you can almost smell it. I can almost smell
She said she
salt
almost
now.
had a club sandwich at Clubhouse the other day. Um, no, but
Yeah,
you
it's
were
so
talking
crazy.
about, Catherine, you were talking about celery, and I forget what else you said.
Seaweed.
Seaweed, yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's salt is fascinating. I think that it's it's probably it used to be studied a lot in ancient or not so ancient times, maybe last 2 centuries ago, um, and a lot of this was sort of hidden because it's so prevalent. I mean, it's in the oceans, right? It's It's everywhere. It's one of the most prevalent inorganic mineral around us, and we ingest it. And it has sort of like this heaven and earth combination, which is so difficult to find in one substance. Like you feel connected and grounded when you eat salt. It's a
Mhm.
very special kind of drug, if you will. So celery will give parts of what the energy of the salt is we're craving, but there's another part which is the grounding, which is not so obvious. When people are trying to get off salt, they're like, "Oh, seaweed and celery is like this one aspect of salt," but there's the grounding aspect, which I again always bring back to haritaki, is one of like the greatest plants in Buddhist medicine and Taoist medicine and Ayurveda. It's like revered because it gives that grounding without, another way of grounding, for example, is when people get really full, like
Mhm.
rice or wheat, because it's that density that gives them the grounding. But the haritaki is very powerful, and I keep almost telling myself to try and eat more of it, because when I do, I feel less cravings for that dense food and the salt.
Do you
So
mind putting it in the chat so I can find it? I'm not
yeah,
spelling
yeah,
it
yeah, for
correctly.
sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'll write it and I'll put it up. There's haritaki and there's tripala, which
Mhm.
is a mix with the haritaki in it, and there's two other really valuable herbs that I forget. I guess I should know that, but yeah, I write it down.
And moringa is another one that we really love and use a lot. And I'll slip these into like our meals and stuff like that. We're starting a cookbook where, so that should be interesting. Just like what for plasma cyclers really, and no salt. We don't cook with any salt, and we try to introduce plasma into the meal as much as possible, like for flatbreads and stuff like that. We're doing a lot of cooking with the fresh shivambu right now, so a lot of experimenting happening in the kitchen. And the feedback loop of using these spices, these herbs, or these plants, these Ayurvedic medicines in the meals, it's been really crazy, beautiful experience.
I don't know why I wrote that and it says you did.
Yeah.
So, but there it is.
Okay.
Haritaki is also
Thank you.
tripala,
Okay.
and yeah, very good.
When I first started coming off salt, I felt like a drug addict. I was like, no, I need it. And I couldn't eat. I would have like the tiniest little bowl of food, and then I was like totally turned off food. And I thought, oh, great. Well, I want to go breatharian anyway, so this is a way to do it. I'll just find food disgusting, and that'll be it. And then I realized, like, that is not inherently in me. That's not the way that this wants to happen, because I actually, like, I cooked for my whole family. I love cooking good food. And now it's just like gotten to a new level. Like, I've sort of healed my relationship with food, and now I want to move where the direction I was going before all of this is actually this conscious food, like preparing a nice meal that's like culinarily like pleasing, and it's enjoyable to eat and nutritious for you, and where you can feel like grounded and centered, but it's not like this huge volume. I look at fruitarians and vegan diet, and it's like all this volume, and even juice diet people, it's like this table full of fruits that they're blending up. And I want to make things like more
This
condensed.
this sorry, but this is a perfect example of people going raw vegan, craving grounding, and they're
Mhm.
eating too much fruit because the fruit isn't dense.
Yeah,
So
I'm there, or I have been there.
yeah, so that's when things like haritaki, and there's other herbs. This is the one that's most known, that any herb of Saturn essentially is going to really help to do that.
Yeah.
because it's probably the most difficult part of going light is to get the grounding. So it's also sort of part of the journey to go and find non-eating ways of grounding.
Mhm. Yeah, Joanna, thank you for speaking to that, because I feel that my distorted eating has just shifted faces, and it's all about consumption and amounts. And I have like adrenal issues, whatever you want to call that, but I'll get super shaky and, feel my cortisol running and my blood sugar and all of that. So I'm just tired of thinking about it all the time. I'm tired of it being an aspect of my life that's controlling and all consuming. And I mean, part of that's the human experience at the moment, but um, yeah, I'm ready for that, like you said, to enjoy a culinary pleasing meal and enjoy it and then just not think about it for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm like kind of thinking like 5 bites or like 6 bites, like that's how much you get. And to really connect with your food, I did this conscious meal with a friend where I was blindfolded and I wasn't even allowed to touch the food. Like I was actually fed. So it was really, we did like an outdoor picnic. We weren't even inside the home, we were out on a beach. And it really changed my perspective. And there was no speaking aloud. Like I could speak, but there was no one, there was no feedback back to me. And it was a really simple meal. And first of all, I was surprised at how quickly I felt like satiated, like satisfied. And I was surprised at that I didn't know some of the things that I was tasting. I was just like, when you cut out one of those senses. And it really slowed me down for a long time. This is like pre Shivambu experience. It really slowed down my eating. And that's kind of like what I want to um, get back to for myself is like in making myself a bowl and just sitting down and really like connecting with the food that I'm eating and enjoy it, like completely engulf myself in that moment and just really savor it and enjoy it and look at look at how I'm feeling. Like when is it that I'm feeling like full, like satisfied? Um, yeah. And like you say, I don't want to, when I cook, it's actually simple things. It doesn't really take a whole lot of time, but the and the ingredients are fairly simple. It's just connecting back with the spices and the herbs and feeling the body of them almost more than the heavier ingredients that are in the bowl.
Hmm.
And
Can
then
I
connecting with your plasma after that to like see, do I want to have these foods again? Like how does that taste? How does my plasma taste after the meal? Go ahead, Olivier.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
S- yeah. So Catherine was talking about the um, the loop, the mental loop of yeah. I trying to analyze this all the time, and eating reminding us of this thing that we're trying to offset. Like it's really fascinating because I was eating before. I would not eat. I would think about eating, and now when I eat, I think about not eating. So there's already a process happening there, and the I call it the solar and the lunar. The lunar is going to be there. It's not going to go away. There are phases when it sort of mellows out, and we don't feel so churned by the wheel of karma. But there's never going to be a time when it doesn't come back. So yeah, like she said, enjoy the process, enjoy the fact that you're now thinking about not eating while you're eating, and just don't beat yourself up about the fact that you're going through that.
Hmm.
Like it's just a new experience now. We're in a different modality. We used to think about things that annoyed us before. Now we're switched to this. Now this is what we think annoys us, but we can just also be in that process having these thoughts come, and this is where mantras are really powerful, or inner silence is very replenishing. Whenever somebody is burning out with thinking, it's a really good idea. Like, I even had a point where I had to really go so deep into inner silence for a long time, for months, uh, that I felt like I was neglecting the lunar or the karmic part of my life, where I have to like build things and achieve things. But at the same time, it showed me that that inner silence that I was building up built my capacity to reach that inner silence much more quickly and naturally, and energized me to heal so that I could actually do the karmic part of my journey. So it's actually a productive thing to do nothing.
Mhm.
And this is like the trick where we get pulled by the lunar. That's like the lunar is like, come on, let's go and build this business and build the mother spirit and get thin. But it's also a part of why we're here, is to experience that. So we don't need to like give ourselves such a hard time churning these thoughts. We can just like let them come and watch them without being captured by them. So that's like the other half of the journey, the inner work.
It's really like steering the mind away from um, guilt, shame, and punishment. Like feeling guilty about what you're eating and then punishing yourself about what you just ate, and just that whole thing. I don't care. Even if I would have stopped and had the clubhouse sandwich and french fries, like to actually just sit down and enjoy it. Like if whatever it is that you're doing,
So
don't
yesterday we were
beat yourself
saying
up.
that
Yeah.
we're gonna fast today, and then we were like, F it, we're gonna have coffee.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that was then we're like, okay, we're gonna
And
have
we didn't
plasma.
have coffee for 3 months.
So crazy.
That's so great. Yeah.
So it's just not beating yourself up about it, and then observing like the coffee. And I had a really good look at it because I was able to feel it, just it, after 3 months, and I hadn't changed anything else. How it like makes my joints crack and make my muscles spasm, the cramps and stuff. So then the body becomes aware. It's like it didn't even know, it was so drowning in the feelings of the coffee that it didn't even know the water for the air. So now it's starting to discern, and the body is starting to prefer and to say, I might not finish this cup, and then I'll probably put it on the table, and the rest of the day I'll look at it, and my body will go like, ooh,
Yeah, it's
no,
really crazy.
and then I'll end up dumping the half that I didn't drink at the end of at the after.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's a question there. How much haritaki do we take a day? Really depends. I would say on average, probably a teaspoon a day. Um, but
I don't
yeah,
think you can really
something like
overdo
that.
it too much. It's not like, well, you can overdo anything, obviously. If you take a lot of moringa, which is the other one we talk about a lot, you're going to go into a high detox because it's a solar herb. If you could take a lot of haritaki, you'll probably just get really sort of, ooh, it's going to like bring your energy that, not down, but like it's going to mellow everything out. So for me, that's how I learn. I like to take a lot of something, and then I start to actually see what it does more clearly. So then I'm able to dose it by myself more effectively. It's like to drinking too much coffee. You're gonna know, and then
Mm.
you're not gonna do it again. But it's not dangerous like coffee like that. It's not gonna give you a heart attack. It's actually quite harmless.
Yeah, I salt. What a subject. So haritaki. I think the a nice way to start with that is actually with your aged. I would start with less than a teaspoon, though. I would put even an eighth of a teaspoon in a little small glass of aged, and let that sit for 4 hours and just drink that. I think that's a
And you
really,
can put it in food.
yeah,
You can cook with it. It's
yeah.
basically almost in every Ayurvedic recipe in the old texts. So
Mm,
they didn't really feel shy with it. It's kind of like you can think of it as your new rice or your new bread. It's something you can put in everything, and I wouldn't be scared to use too much. But like Joanne said, just take your time and you'll find the right dose.
yeah, the aged infusions, I guess we're gonna call that, like room temperature infusions. They're a really beautiful way to connect with whatever plant it is that you want to take, whatever herb, whatever it is. I kind of went through the whole spice rack and just tried each one like in a small dose, like a few sips of aged in my cup with a sprinkle of each one in there, like an eighth of a teaspoon, to just see what the actual flavor of that and
Yeah, and
feel that. It's
the
like a
tripa,
homeopathic dose.
yeah, the tripala actually tastes really nice.
Hmm.
The mix with haritaki, I really like the taste of it. And that's like Joanne was saying, we've been so and enthusiastic about spices and herbs that I've been tasting them more directly, every one of them, like juniper berries or cloves or whatever. Just really just tasting those herbs by themselves and feeling what they do to my body. And tripala, I really like the taste of it. I like the texture of it. It feels like I'm eating something like has consistency.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And
Um,
getting off salt was like part of that. It's like you recalibrating your taste buds back to
Maybe
herbs again.
Catherine wants to speak.
Yeah,
oh
sorry.
yeah, no, this is a little bit of a segue. So with the moringa, do you feel like that's one of the more powerful ways to detox heavy metals in conjunction with your shivambu? That was one question I had coming on here. There's so many different approaches to heavy metal detox, but I just wanted to know your take on it.
I really feel moringa is like one of my top favorite, just because it does so many different things and yeah, super powerful plant. I don't know I haven't had any blood work done in decades. Um, I'm just going by feeling how my body feels, and my body feels so much lighter in my organs. Feel so much lighter. I feel like less strain on my organs, um, and full, like emotionally balanced and like filled out. I don't know how to really describe it.
Yeah,
So,
the feeling that I have now is not that when I crave to eat something, it's not that I feel hungry, it's that I'm trying to offset my withdrawals.
hmm,
So basically, we're used to getting an additional life force by ingesting, which is not like we're born into this stage of growth of the infant, which is more it's more apt to being nourished to let it grow. Then when we finish growing, we sort of stayed on that train, and then we're managing our withdrawals basically because the body is constantly trying to go sober. It's like, okay, now we've grown, now we can go sober. So I'm basically just managing my withdrawals. It's very different feeling than I need to eat, then oh I need to get some moringa, for example, because I feel my energy levels are coming down, my enthusiasm is coming down, so I need some solar energy, which is funny because you were saying the heavy metals. Heavy metals corresponds with Saturn, the Earth, and the symbolically they're opposed, Sun and Saturn. So when you take moringa, it's giving you that solar life force, which is going to help you to detox that Saturnian toxicity of the heavy metal or the inorganic mineral, which is very, very difficult. It's one of the most difficult things for the body to get rid of is these inorganic minerals that dissolve in the blood. And yeah, what that becomes a big problem, right? Because now you have to separate something that's in the blood from the blood. And it's amazing that the body can do it. and it needs that solar energy, which is why the sun and these solar plants like moringa, rosemary, um, there's so many great herbs of the sun are really helpful to help us to detox. And also, we're also talking about this as kind of a new subject, but plasma from animals or from other people. It's about healthy, ideally, people that have a good, or animals that have a good diet, because we all have a different composition of energies. Like I'm very fiery and Martian, and I can give that to somebody who needs that in their diet from my plasma. So it's also a kind of more unexplored topic, is how can we get these energies from, instead of plants, from different animals and different people.
Yeah, that actually, I would, let's end the live stream on that note and open up to the community because I want to continue down this path and share a bit deeper, but it's not going to work on a live. So thanks, everyone. Yeah, be kind to yourself in this journey. So thank you so much, everyone,
So
for
thanks,
joining.
Mergen. I'm not sure how to say that. Thanks for coming. We also had. Oh, that's it. I can't see another comment. Anybody who tuned in, we have some people in the back room that are going to join our private discussion after the live, and
Yeah,
we
and thanks,
decided that
everyone.
we were going to have this live on what is called the Combust Moon, which was, it just happened to be today, which is a very good day for fasting, and it's about every 5 days. So the next one will be in 5 days. And we welcome anybody who wants to join the group, the community, Mother Spirit. Go on motherspirit.kriam.net and join our group there. And yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for those that
And
joined in on
Catherine, did
the
you want to share your
Instagram.
Instagram or your website or anything?
My website is abundantbeingness.com. It's about natural flows of resources.
I don't know what this is. Can you take that down? Okay, I got it. Can you say that again? Sorry.
Yeah, my website is just www.abundantbeingness.com. And I'm not on social media.
Abundant beingness, and can you give a little brief?
Yeah, it's it highlights a book I wrote about how
Is this
nature.
right?
Abundantbeingness.com. Yeah, it's about how nature recalibrated my way of being with resources and the invitation to join the natural cadence of resource flow, like the breath of creation, inflow and outflow, and how that looked in a natural, organic way, and moving from the grief of holding what no longer was truly right for me, and sharing and the joy that has brought.
Oh, wow, that sounds really right up my alley. We should have another discussion, just you and I, if you're
Yeah,
into it.
I'd love to.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks, everyone. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to open up the community call, and I'm just going to end the live stream now. And thanks, everyone, for joining us.